All right, fantasy football squad, what is up? The Ryan and Jacob show is back, and we are gonna just do a small, quick little history lesson for you guys. Jacob was bored at work today, I think, and decided to just kind of do a deep dive into the last 3 years of our history since ESPN started recording all the stats since 3 years ago. We know a lot of you have been in here longer than that, and you've got some wins and championships that are there that aren't going to be shown here, but this is what we can get from ESPN. So we thought we'd just do a quick little pod and kind of go over some of this. So, Jacob, I'll let you start us off here since this is your beautiful creation.
Yeah, I was definitely pretty bored at work. But yeah, it was interesting because ESPN does this, but I kind of try to just consolidate it to make it look kind of cool and just kind of we can keep doing this year after year. And it's really just kind of the combined record is on the left, and then your 2020, 2019, 2018, and then points 2020, 2019, 2018, and then your Super Bowl record, and then how many times you've been in the playoffs per the year. So Jimmy's made the playoffs 2 out of the 3 years. And then on this side, I kind of did, the divisions this year. So Chewy's division and Jimmy's division. You can see Joey was actually a pretty good competitor the last 3 years, and we are missing Joey, and we added Jeff at the bottom. So that's why Chewy's division has less, wins and losses. But according to by division record, we have Jimmy's division by a percentage, and then points, we have you guys by about 35, 40 points. So this kind of just sees the divisions are really close, and we actually picked very fair divisions, and that kind of is a testament to that.
Yeah, I agree. I said it last time, and you said it too. I think we picked damn near perfect divisions. And you can see it there. Obviously, the percentages are incredibly close, even with not having an extra person's record in there too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think this is awesome, and I'm going to be excited to see this as the years go on. Now, when we get 10 years down the road and have just a fat table of all these stats and being able to look back. One thing I would love to point out is that my man Lubasi and me do have the same record, but if you'll notice on the far right column, no playoff appearances for Lubasi in the last 3 years. So I did see that 19 and 20 was the same, but then I was like, oh, he's definitely going to say something about that. But then I looked at that playoff column, and I got him by a playoff appearance, and I'll take that as a win all day.
Yeah, and you guys, you have total out of the 3 years, you have more point. You have 108 more points. Really, the point discrepancy was in 2019 because he actually beat you by less than a point in 2020, and he beat you about 14 points in 2018. So that 2019 that you had is pretty much the killer against the rivalry between you and Lubasi. And I actually do have a quote. I'm not going to say who said this quote. But I just want to get your reaction to this quote.
Oh.
So let me just kind of find it. I'm not going to say who it was from.
Did somebody text you and tell you to say this on the next pod?
Yes. Well, I actually went to him and got a quote.
You did what?
I went to him to get the quote.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew we were going to be talking about this, so this is what he said. I'm not going to say who.
Yeah, I wonder who.
He said, if it wasn't for your lucky ass year 2 years ago, you'd be towards the bottom. He ain't elite, he a fraud. So those are the thoughts.
I wonder who said that. Yeah, man, I'm going to be so curious all night wondering who could have possibly said that, especially after I just had a conversation with somebody, I won't say the name either, about me being elite. So I wonder who it was. But you know what, man? That's fine. I love the competitiveness. It's great to see that you think you're close because our records are the same, but that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. Make a playoff, and maybe we could talk about something. All right. whoever
Yeah, I mean,
whoever you are.
yeah, record wise, I mean, records really don't tell the full story because, like, you got Ryan and Lubasi who are pretty close. I mean, even close in points, like, that's a close matchup. But if you see Jimmy's record
Yeah.
against all of his points that he has scored, he didn't even get 1,000 points in 2019, and he made the playoffs. He was
That
7-6 with a winning record, and he did not score less. He scored less than 1,000 points. And even in 2018, he didn't even like. He was towards the bottom of the league again, and he was again 7-6. So like, I know Jimmy said was commented on our Facebook post last week about oh, we don't think he can do it. I mean, the numbers tell me that you can't do it again. I mean, the numbers tell me 2020 was a fluke, and that's just what I think. What about you, Ryan?
I think that if there's a such thing as luck in this world or in fantasy football, Jimmy is holding the 4-leaf clover because this guy has, I don't like the most perfect schedule ever to get wins with the least amount of points. Like this guy, I'm pretty sure that year that he scored the 942 had a couple wins scoring like 60 or 70 points and just mind-boggling games with that guy. And to see him have really without Joey, he has the best record of anyone in the league. And the points don't reflect that. And it's hilarious. I mean, good on him because he's made the playoffs twice, but man, the guy has got some luck on his side. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Because I mean, just to score that, just to score that little points. Like just take me as an example. In 2020, I was the third highest point total in the league last year, and I was 4-9.
Right.
So like points just. You just need to get lucky matchups, and that's the one thing I kind of don't like about fantasy football, but I love at the same time is it's all about matchups and just who you play at that time. Because I remember like 2 years ago, I played Johnny, and I scored like 160, and he scored like 150. I mean, that's just straight up bad luck. And
yeah.
I mean, that's just what you got to deal with in fantasy football. And I mean, it's just crazy how he's on top of this league for the past 3 years. I mean, it kind of pisses me off, honestly.
It does. This is the year that we got to reclaim that. I mean, I got a lot more room to get there than you, but somebody needs to reclaim that record title. But like we've said, that's just speaks to the fact that records don't tell the whole story because it doesn't tell you when you lose, when you put up 130 points and still lose to a guy that just had the best week ever. I mean, you can't tell that from a record, but it definitely happens. And also in Jimmy's case, you put up 60 points and you get a win somehow. But that's the game and we love it. We live it, we breathe it. And the name of the game is really just setting yourself up with the best odds.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. So like the consistency factor on fantasy football is, and who you really don't want to get paired into a division with is who has the most consistent team, like who's scoring the most points. As you can see, of course, I'm the only one with 4,000 points in the last 3 years. But there's a lot of other people that have 3,900. Joey, of course, isn't with us anymore, but Chewy, Ryan, Matt, and Dom, those 4 guys, like they're consistently good teams. And that's what you kind of just hope for in fantasy football, just a consistent high-scoring team. Sometimes you'll get unlucky and lose some of those weeks, but all you can really ask for is consistency on the high scoring. And really those 6 that I named, me, Chewy, Ryan, Matt, and Dom, I would say are probably the top 6 in the league just because of the points. Because the points really don't lie. I mean, you score a lot and you're pretty good. Like you're pretty good at not managing, but like at least drafting a good team and just managing it throughout the year. So, I mean, that's just my take on it. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, it's about consistency and it's when you're drafting, it's, you want players that are going to put you in the best position to win because, like you said, you're not going to win them all and you're going to have bad weeks and you're going to have bad matchups because someone's team's going to go ridiculously nuts, which seems to happen to me a lot, I feel like, but I'm not going to get into that. but yeah, no, completely agree with what you said. And, you notice people putting up those consistent stat lines. Like you said, those are usually the people that you see near the top, at least. A lot of those guys are in the playoffs a lot. Most of those people you name got a playoff record there. So, that's the name of the game. Like I said, we love it. The inconsistency part kind of also makes it exciting.
Right. And then we see kind of the bottom of the barrel of the league. And I was very shocked. Now, this spreadsheet is always going to have an asterisk next to Chris's name, because Chris, prior to in 2017, 2016 were his first years in the league, as we mentioned before, and he won those. But the last 3 years, he has been statistically the worst guy in the league. And I was shocked because I honestly thought that was Rudy. And Chris beat him by 10 points as the worst statistically person in this league, which kind of was a shock. And he has the worst record ever recorded in fantasy football at 3-10. So Chris needs a little pick me up here this year. He's hoping for a good season.
He had a tough 2020. I'm glad you mentioned the 2 years before, because Chris does have 2 trophies in his case. He did win his first 2 in the league, but like I said, ESPN only tracks the last 3. So that sucks to see this up there for Chris, but the stats don't lie. Maybe those first 2 years he got lucky, because we've seen 3 bad ones out of him. This, this could be a very telling year for the skill level of Chris. I think I'm excited to see what he does with this one.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said earlier in the podcast, like just when we have just imagine 10 years of these statistics, just to see how we did the whole decade. Yeah. It's just going to be so cool to see, and just your consistency factor, and when you had your best years, why you had your, it's just going to be so cool to figure that out. And I mean, I just love how I wish ESPN did this earlier. I think kind of I think I read that they started tracking in 15 or 16, but I never re-up the same league every year. So I missed out on a couple years that we could have done it. But then I figured out, if you re-up every year, they actually save your statistics. So that was kind of my fault towards the first couple of years that they did that. But I mean, just the consistency factor in points, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half of our league in the 3900s. And I also calculated 2019 and 2018, we did not do half point PPR. 2020, we did. And I calculated with the average of 18 and 19 scores compared to 2020, that half point PPR gave us about a 10% increase in our scores. So just a little tidbit of information. I guess I was, again, bored at work, so I started doing a lot of statistic analysis and stuff. But yeah, our points jumped about 10% on average. So another cool factoid. But Jeff has a line. He's going to add to that line this year. Can't wait for Jeff to be in the league. And really, I know we already talked about this, but this division, since it's really so close, Jeff's really going to tell the tale, because if he's really bad, statistically Jimmy's division is going to be better. But if he's good, then our division is going to be better. So Jeff's really the tall tale sign of how these divisions are going to pan out.
Yeah, I don't know. Mutterings around the league are that Jeff might not have what it takes to fit in around here. I mean, as you can see from this table, we got some heavy hitters in this league. This isn't a cakewalk, and it's not the single A league that he's used to. So it will be I'm anxious to see what he does. I can't wait till the draft. I can't wait to analyze Jeff's team. Can't wait to analyze everyone's, but I'm very curious to see what kind of team Jeff drafts, because he's not going to have Dalvin Cook on the board in round 4 like he probably did in all his other leagues. So see how he adapts.
Yeah, and one other thing. So Lubasi, Dom, Chris, James, and Rudy are looking for their first ever playoff appearance. And then add Johnny into that, and those 6 are looking for their first Super Bowl appearance. So a lot of firsts for the last 3 years, of course, and Jeff, of course. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want me to send you this, email you this, just so you guys can look at it without like looking at it on the screen, I can. I'm happy to send it. Another cool thing, James went 5-8 every single year the past 3 years.
You know what? Talk about consistency. But you can also see that it didn't get him into the playoffs ever. So that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of 7 and 6s, like every year, especially last year, we had a lot of 7-6, 6-7. That seems to be like the most consistent record that you see there. There's so many of them.
Yeah, because I mean, you play 13 games. I don't know if like the odds of finishing 6 and 7 are like slightly higher, 6 or 7 or 7 and 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I hope this table makes everybody, especially those in the red, makes you guys a little bit hungrier to come back and make some noise this year. Hopefully that's something that we've accomplished. I really hate seeing Jacob with that bold, ugly green on his number. So if somebody would like to take that title away, that would be pretty sweet. Hopefully it'll be me, but 400 points is a lot.
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna beat me. Like that's gonna be a couple. I mean, it's really my 2019 Super Squad was the reason behind that. Man, that team was so good. 11-2. So yeah, Jimmy and I have the best record ever recorded in 11-2. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone ever beats that. And then, like we said, Chris has the worst 3-10. It'll be interesting if anyone beats that. But
I think it'd be harder to. Man, actually, I don't know. I was gonna say I think it might be harder to beat the 3-10 than to beat the 11-2. Because I mean, not to even get like 4 off the cuff lucky wins, like yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, like if you see like
a lot of 4 and 9s.
Yeah, Rudy had the lowest points last year and finished 6 and 7. I mean, just kind of testament of what we've been saying. Like you just never know. But yeah, I was 4-9 last year. Like a couple 4-9s. Man, I had a bad year last year, but my points were so good. That's frustrating year last year. But yeah, like I said, if you guys want me to send this to you guys, I'm gonna do this every year, just so we can see how we're doing throughout our fantasy career. And this just makes, hopefully you guys get a little pissed off that you're in the red, and Jimmy, hopefully you get pissed off that we're talking so much shit. But we're ready.
We had a couple comments on the first podcast with some people not super happy with some of the stuff we were saying, but I just hope it's lighting a fire under their ass, and let's have ourselves a competitive ass season. I would love to get the shit talk ramped up. Like, let's turn it up a notch. Let's get the kettle hot, you know? So yeah, I hope this fires everybody up. I know it's firing me up because to have the same record as the Bossy really gets under my skin. So I'm looking to improve on that this year. And please put your comments below on what you think you're going to do to change this. We would love to hear from you. And please call us out. We would love that.
Yes. So yeah, I think we're just going to wrap this up. Hopefully, I think that was a little less than 20 minutes. So we're just so excited to get this started. We're going to look for another podcast maybe next week, just regarding about like the new mini game we're going to be doing. And me and Ryan will hopefully get the schedule kind of figured out. And I still have to do standings. I forgot to do that. So I'll get the standings correct. I don't know if you guys have logged into the league yet, but the league's up. Just there's going to be a lot of fixes in the next week regarding the league. Yep.
That sounds good. We, like you said, we're super excited. I mean, we're out here making tables just so we can have an extra podcast to talk about. So look for some more exciting content this year to come, hopefully. If you got any suggestions, throw them our way. And like I said, call us out. Let's hear what you have to say about these stats, and let's talk some shit. Let's hear it.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.